because it was not your average solo. It was just so badass. And I tried to learn it and failed at least 3 times. I gave up. And then I would get another little chunk, and then another little chunk. And finally, I understood what he was doing. Because there was a lot of new techniques at that time in 1985, 86, that not everybody understood. He was such an innovator. But because I persevered and was able to play that solo, that's what I did in the audition to finish it. Now, I asked when I got the call to audition what songs I should know, and he probably said Billie Jean, you know, the top hits. And so I stayed home for, I think I had 2 or 3 days, and I just canceled everything and just worked on those songs. And surprisingly, I went into the audition and there was no band. It was just me, a guy with a video camera, and a guy that had keyboards but didn't play them. And so it was just kind of a free-for-all. And another thing that served me well, I was at, in those 5 bands I was in, because Eddie Van Halen was known for doing these solo guitar pieces, every band wanted me to do a solo on my own. And so I was comfortable doing that. So the only guidance I was given was to play some funky rhythm. And I remember one of the things I played was from a Jeff Beck record that I had worked on. Another thing was something I was teaching, by that time I was teaching at Musicians Institute. Then he said, just play. So I just randomly soloed. I was also working on my first record at that time. So one of the songs I did was, there's a John Coltrane song called Giant Steps, and I worked out a 2-hand tapping solo for that. So I played that, and I finished the audition with the Beat It solo. And a few days later, I had such anxiety. I would come home every day. Old school answering machines, right? Long before smartphones, you actually had to come home to get your messages. And I would check every day, and there was nothing there, nothing there. Finally, I got a message that said, Michael was interested, come down and play with the band and see how it goes. And nobody ever told me I was hired. It's just nobody sent me home. And eventually I had a passport and a ticket to Tokyo. And Sheryl Crow was on that tour too. She was one of the background singers. And we were both insecure. We were going, when are they gonna fire us? We're really getting no feedback. I mean, we're doing our best. But it wasn't until I told you Michael Jackson shut down the Tokyo Disneyland, Sheryl and I were in a shop, and I was looking at this Daisy Duck toothbrush holder where you would take Daisy's head and push it down, and the eyes would go back and forth for as long as you're supposed to brush your teeth. This is the kind of stuff I spend my money on. And anyway, we were just fascinated with this stuff, and I didn't know Michael was anywhere near us, and he came up behind me, tapped me on the shoulder, and said, I really like how you're playing the Beat It solo. And in my mind, job security. So, yeah. More questions? Yeah, Metheny. And I remember thinking, all the sounds are taken. They're already done. You know Jeff Beck when you hear it. You know David Gilmour. You know Pat Metheny when you hear it. And I think the only thing that you can really do is dig deeper and deeper and deeper to express yourself. And a lot of that comes out in nuance, the way you bend, the way you pick. There's so many variables in guitar. But planting a seed that I'm aware of all these other sounds, and I want to have my own thing. Which is one reason I really got